Hi, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to English with Emily. And in today's video, I'm going to answer one of the questions that I got asked from you guys. What motivated me to learn English? Well, let me start by telling you a little bit about my childhood. I was born in a rural area. Back then, my house was next to the river. So every day, I got a chance to hang out with my neighbor friends to the river bank. And we had wonderful childhood memories there. We had a lot of fun, like playing with each other and then watching foreigners being on the boat tour. There were some boats just passing by our hometown, our village, every afternoon. Yeah, so we usually hung out at around 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. because we would love to play some water sports and yeah, we enjoy swimming in the river. And then whenever we saw a boat passing by, it was carrying a lot of passengers who were foreigners. Back then, foreigners for us was like, wow, they're like angels. They were white and they were tall and they were beautiful with blonde hair and blue eyes and straight nose. All of the kids were waving at them and said hello because we knew nothing but hello as we were kids. So we were like on night clouds when we saw them waving back and then smiling at us and say hello back. So somehow it just lighted up some desires inside me as a kid that I would love to have a foreign friend when I grow up. Just to know what's it like to speak with a foreigner and to have a friend as a foreigner. That's all I can remember what I was thinking when I was a kid. I think I was in primary school back then. And remember one time when I was in secondary school, I just picked up a book from my cousin's bag, the English book, and try to read every sentences on the page. There were a lot of vocabulary that I didn't know, but still I tried to read every single one and try to pretend like I was able to read them, pronounce them correctly. How funny it was when I remember that moment. Anyway, it just reminded me that I was already planted in my head. I had a desire to conquer the language out of my curiosity. You know what I mean? So a little bit older, when I was in high school, I joined in some English speaking contest. I also had some achievements when I joined in those competitions. However, my most favorite subject back then was not English, it was literature. I love studying literature. I'm a kind of person who is like a bit unrealistic, I dream of a lot of things and I wanted to use literature to express my feeling, to uncover all of the deep thoughts inside me. But it came to the moment when I had to decide for the university entrance exam, that I had to prepare for the university entrance exam. And I had to choose which university that I would like to study and which major I would love to pursue or follow. I was thinking if I should study to become a teacher of literature, or should I study English linguistics and become a translator, an interpreter. I love like every girl, I love to be a little bit fashionable. I love to wear kind of beautiful clothes and try different things. So I think that being a translator or an interpreter allowed me to dress in different style because I love languages in general. I love English and I love literature. I love Vietnamese. I love my mother tongue. So I was thinking that if I love literature, then I should learn another language to have an opportunity to use my native language and to learn another language skill. I started to study English majors when I was at a university. For the first 2 years, my English was terrible. My grammar was quite good. I studied pretty hard in high school, and I also focused on studying for the first 2 years at the university. So my grammar was like okay, my vocabulary was okay, but I was not able to speak. I was not able to understand native speakers, my teachers, my lecturers back then. Some of them were, like native English speakers. They were from America. One of them was from Norway. I still remember his name was Emil. I studied with Miss Mia. I studied with Miss Kirsty, Mr. Charles. Who else did I study with? Miss Anne. When I was a junior, I started to worry about my future because I didn't think that I could be a good translator or a good interpreter. I was so skeptical of my future. I had a lot of doubts about my own ability. So I started to stop focusing on learning from the textbook. I started to hang out more often with my foreign friends. And since then, I started to develop a thought in my mind that I felt like I love to be with them. I felt like, oh, this is where I belong to. This is where I can fit in a culture that allows me to be myself, a culture that encouraged my independent skills and also allowed me to be who I am, which I could not be when I was living with my family because they're a little bit traditional and conservative, like most of old Vietnamese people, like middle-aged Vietnamese parents. Anyways, I started to hang out with them, and I felt like my English was truly alive. Normally in class, I didn't have a lot of chances to speak. If I ever got a chance to speak, it was about answering the questions in the textbook. It was not real conversation that people ask me about my own culture, myself, and I have the opportunity to tell them who I am. That's a wonderful feeling when you can really use the language to tell people who you are. I experienced that feeling, and texting with them a lot. I realized that my dream when I was a child was somehow accomplished because I got more and more foreign friends. Every year I joined as a volunteer in some field trip or student exchange visits. I joined as a volunteer. I learned a lot by working with them. My English proficiency was pretty much improved because I had a lot of interactions, like real life interaction, conversations. I started to dream bigger. I wanted to be on stage and being a bilingual MC because I was able to host a program in Vietnamese pretty well back then. So I wanted to combine what I'm studying, which is the English language, and what I am good at in nature, what I'm gifted, which is my hosting skill, MC skill. So I started to try by being the bilingual MC for some school events, universities events. I got a lot of compliments from my friends, from lecturers, from teachers, and that motivated me a lot. It helped me to, believe in myself and my ability that I could do something bigger. Then I started to think of getting a scholarship to be abroad, to be in another country, to know what's it like to be in another country. I was nominated by the universities to be one of the 2 students that would attend an international conference which was held in Hong Kong and Beijing. That was in 2018, 1 year before I graduated. The next target was achieved. I just got inspired along the way. After I achieved this target, then I had the inspiration, the motivation to continue and to grow what I was having. I think that I was lucky because I was always inspired by people around me, by my friends who were very supportive, and we practiced English after school. I also got foreign friends. We used to hang out a lot. and shared beautiful memories. I think another reason why I wanted to study the language was also because of my father. He used to tell me that when he was young, he really wanted to learn another language, but due to the war back then, and also in his time, everything was very difficult. Having the opportunity to go to school was like a wish for every child, and he couldn't really do his dream. So he would love me to do something that he was unable to achieve when he was young. I kept it in my mind, and I feel like I just, like pick up every pieces and then get them together and make it like a big motivation for me to learn the language. So you see, when I was small, I wanted to have a foreign friends a little bit like older. I wanted to be a translator, an interpreter, and then I wanted to be on stage speaking both Vietnamese and English as the MC, and I wanted to be in some competitions. And then after my graduation, I started with a community project which is called Free Talk. It's been like almost 5 years now, since 2020. But last year I couldn't make it because there was an interruption, because last year I was pretty busy with a lot of studying plans and also other plans in my life. So I hope that this year I could really continue, because I was inspired in the past, and English has brought me many opportunities with social networking, with teaching me to be who I am, allowing me to be creative, and it has taught me to become a person who is useful for the community. I've received so many things from life thanks to the ability of speaking English. And I wanted to help other people to open more doors to their future. Yeah, so my ambition is just growing bigger and bigger after. So like I said, I just got inspired, I just got motivated by different people, different events in my life. I just feel like everything is getting better if I utilize what I have been given to give to others. It's like I was lucky in the past, and now I want to help other people. I want to spread the lucks to other people and showing them how to get the lucks by learning another language skill. I've also become a more positive person. Language has changed who I am. I remember one time when a teacher in my high school asked me to show him my tongue. He told me that he could tell me if I would be able to speak English good or not in the future, if I could be a successful interpreter, translator in the future. I was pretty scared at that moment because I was thinking a lot. I was thinking, like, what if he told me that my tongue will not allow me to speak English well? Would I just keep it in my mind and think of myself as the person who is not able to speak English? So I denied to show him the shape of my tongue. I kept it in my mind that no matter what tongue shape that I'm having, I could speak English well if I try hard enough. So I don't want any parts of my body define who I am. I want my effort, my patience, my ambition to define who I am. I would like to tell you guys that no matter what people tells you, it doesn't matter. What matters is how much you put your mind into it. It matters how much you are patient with your goal. It matters how strong you are with keeping your ambition grow inside you. Don't let anybody define who you are. Don't let anybody tell you if you can do something or you can't do something. They cannot decide anything but you. I got some kind of intrinsic motivation and some extrinsic motivation like I've just shared. I will turn all of the challenges into possibilities into opportunities. I believe in the power of language. If I can speak Vietnamese only, then um, my world, my scope will be within Vietnam. I won't be able to have wonderful friends from other countries like I'm having now. If I didn't study English, I wouldn't have a chance to start with my community project, which is Free Talk and serves almost 300 people from everywhere in Vietnam and also from other countries. All of the positive kind of sources of knowledge that you learn from English can really transform who you are. Good luck with your English learning journey.